Hey YouTubers, this is Killer Sushi 99. We're going to be doing a review today of the 3 Racing Sakura Countersteer Sport chassis. This is a dedicated countersteer chassis. It's in 110 scale. It is the Sakura D3, as it's designated at the top. This countersteer chassis is a 115% countersteer chassis at the box. So let's get into the nuts and bolts of it, and I'll tell you what is the good and the bad about this chassis. So here we go. Real quick, has a really good manual. Everything's very detailed. It does a step-by-step build process, and each step of the build corresponds to a bag number, which is good. So you just get your bag of parts and just build. Very good for the beginner, so you won't be overwhelmed by so many parts. It's nice to start off with something that has a good manual. Always with a good manual. Always make sure you have your tools. I've got a 2mm drive and a 1.5 millimeter drive, and also I actually have a good T-handle ratchet drive with a 2mm bit in there, which takes some of the fatigue out of your wrist. Definitely gonna need some needle nose pliers for this build as well. Okay, let's get into the chassis itself. This is my project car. This is my little Dark Drifter project I've been working on. It's coming together real nicely. Finally got it built together, and we were testing it out last night, and it was doing really well. So let's get into the car itself. As you can see, front motor design, rear battery, transverse in the rear. There's no adjustment for that, so you just put it in the back and roll with it. The chassis has really good materials used in it. The suspension arms are a graphite style. They're very, very strong. I actually had to use wire cutters to cut them out of the parts tree because it's very hard material. The deck itself is made the same way. The chassis brace is a carbon piece as well, so it's really rigid. The only thing that I can tell is different is the steering and the uprights are just regular old parts plastic, so they're not as rigid as the rest of the chassis, but that's okay. This is a 3-belt car, 1, 2, 3. The chassis needs really badly a belt tensioner when you get the car. So either order one from 3 Racing or make your own, which is what I did. Basically, I took a turnbuckle and put a bolt through it and 2 little bearings on top. So that took the slop out of the belt just enough. If you drive this car on polished concrete out of the box, you'll be okay. But I'm pretty sure if you drive it on asphalt or carpet out of the box, it probably will burn this belt up, eat it up, because it's going to slip. It's very loose out of the box. It comes with a solid spool rear, which is always good. Went ahead and ordered the 3 Racing one-way front spool for this car. And I actually ordered the little 3 Racing heat sink and motor, which goes on top of the front of the chassis like so. This can be actually turned around the other direction. So the suspension on this car is very good. The springs are very good. They're dedicated to a certain layout. Very soft in the front, soft spring, light oil for nice soft cushion rebound. Rear is stiff spring, very thick oil for more rigidity. They use a spring pin system in the pulley, so that can be a little bit of a challenge for some people who are used to just throwing pulleys in there and using grub screws to tighten it down. This actually is a spring pin that you have to put in with your needle nose pliers. If you are having problems when you're building this chassis to get the pins lined up, because you're kind of doing it blind, you can take a needle and stick it down through the center of the pin, which is good. It will line up to the hole in the shaft, so that makes it easier to build. This car, other than tensioner for the belt and one way, is pretty much good to go out of the box. I can tell this really good design. It's very simple, not complicated at all, which is very good. So I think if you're looking to get into countersteer, want a good beginner starter chassis, this one is a good decision. It's surprisingly well balanced and put together. My friend Patrick over at Blue Star For You YouTube channel, he's another crazy counter steer person whose car's at 150% counter steer, and he runs a R31 THR31 chassis, and he drove mine. He really liked it. So if it gets Patrick's seal of approval, then I guess I'm pretty happy with it too. So if you're interested in getting the Sakura D3, make sure you get your front one-way spool, and you make sure you get you a little belt tensioner, or be prepared to make one for this car. And that's really about it. It's good to go. So if you're thinking about getting the counter steer, go get you one and build you a nice counter steer car, and hopefully you'll enjoy it. Thanks for watching.